What was it like for you to transition from being an individual contributor to sales manager? What were the skill sets or changes that surprised you the most?
The reason most people who are very good at sales become managers is because they want a pay rise. And the company goes, "We can't give you a pay rise, so we'll make you a manager." And they go, "Okay, sure, make me a manager. I'll take the pay rise. Thank you very much." And they get this big pay rise and become a manager. The problem is, if you haven't been trained how to be a manager, there's a good chance you'll stink. But just to be clear, I was a terrible manager when I started. And I would say to the staff, "Look, just do what I do." And I would micromanage. "Where are you going? To the toilet? Okay, fine." I had to know every single thing they did.
Yeah.
If you don't read the books and you don't ask for advice, even with the best of intentions, which is what I had, the very best of intentions, I was a terrible manager. And my boss, again, I was very lucky. My boss said to me, "Look, you're a brilliant salesperson. I'm not going to let you go. And you've got a good heart, but you really know nothing about management." And he put me in a 2-day management course. That was it. But I was with other managers who were way smarter than me. Not smarter, more experienced than me. And I got a chance to learn from them and ask questions. And then, as well as reading sales books every day for half an hour, every evening on the way home, I'd read management books. Again, just for 1 hour, commute home, management, which was much harder to understand. It was much more difficult for me to wrap my head around. It was really quite tedious at times because it is management. I'm not a manager, but I knew I had to be one because if you can get your team to perform, it makes much more better business sense than trying to do it all yourself. I see a lot of managers who used to be great salespeople trying to do it all themselves. It's a terrible, terrible strategy. Get the people who work with you to become better. And that way everybody succeeds. And that's what a great sales manager does. But I see too many try to do it by themselves. I see too many managers lead by threats. If you don't do this, this will happen to you, which is a terrible way to manage. And I see a lot of managers just manage by email because they don't know how to manage people at all. So all these ways are not good ways to manage. The best way to manage, which is what I've actually learned, was learn the skills, learn the basics, read the books, go on courses, get a coach. This is how you become good at anything. And then once you do that, make sure you spend time every single Monday morning with your team for half an hour each individually and ask them, "How was your weekend?" And just be quiet and listen for a few minutes. That is their time. Then after they've told you, then ask about their pipeline from last week. What went well and what challenges did you have? You congratulate them on what went well, and then you ask about the challenges. And you say, "Okay, what support do you need me to give you going forward?" And never accept an answer, "If I need something, I'll come to you," because people rarely do. So that is what great managers do. And that's what's going to separate you from everybody else in your industry is by spending that quality time with your team, listening to them, asking questions, and then supporting them going forward.
Got you, Niraj. So sales managers need to be sales coaches, is what you're saying, basically.
If you're a sales manager and you haven't got time to coach just purely because of the nature of your role, because everybody's role is very different. That's when you hire someone like me or you hire a coach to come into companies, which is what I do 2 to 3 times a week and work with people. Because sometimes sales managers, for whatever reason, are on the road half the week, in which case it's more challenging or difficult to manage. There's some people who are sales managers, but they're really sales directors. They just have a different job title and they have to liaise with the board a lot. Or quite often you're a sales manager who's growing a team really quickly. And if you're growing a team very quickly and you're trying to do your job and you're trying to recruit people, you're not going to have time to coach your staff every week, So that's why you bring in external help. And there's never any shame in asking for help, ever. I mean, I'm a business owner of 6 years now. I still ask for help all the time. I still invest in coaches myself, despite the fact this is my 30th year in sales. I still go to conferences. I still read books. For those of you listening, there's a massive bookshelf behind me full of books on sales and emotional intelligence and
Yeah.
psychology and management because you need to be learning every single day. Learning is one of the most underrated skills in sales.